What's up, everybody? Welcome to the WWE Fight Pit here at House Golf Sports. I'm Sam. That is Justin. And today we'll be discussing who's the real face of the WWE, the status of the new Judgment Day, our expectations for Braun Breaker and LA Knight's title reign, and Dakota Kai's injury. Before we get into all that, a quick word for our sponsor, Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats is the most trustworthy and easy to navigate ticketing website. They have reliable and rewarding tickets with a 100% buyer guarantee, which means your transaction will be safe and secure. You will get full service customer care and be compensated for any canceled events. And it's got the only ticket rewards program around, which means every single WWE event that you want to go to, Vivid Seats is the place to go. And NFL season starting very soon. The same thing with NHL's right around the corner. The MLB playoffs. Get your tickets at Vivid Seats. Hit the link in the description and go sit vividly. Yeah. Now, we have a very interesting topic to discuss, you and me, Justin. I know when you saw this little question on the group chat, you're like, what the hell is this guy on about?
Yep.
And you're like, well, I mean, this should be obvious. That you told me before the show. So I'm going to go ahead and start with you. Who is the face of the WWE at this moment in time?
It is no question. There is no debate here that the face of the WWE is the ultimate needle mover, the tribal chief, the reigning, former, I should say, Universal Heavyweight Champion, who will likely get his title back at some point. And that is Roman Reigns. And let's be honest, it has always been Roman Reigns being the face. He is this generation's version of what John Cena was during his Super Cena era, where no matter what he did, no matter what storyline he was in, whether it was for a title or not for a title, people tuned in for it. And if you want the ultimate reason why he is the face of this company, what is one of the benchmarks when it comes to how big a superstar is? Well, that's merch sales. I want you to do me a favor. For anybody who has Peacock, go back and go to the Raw after SummerSlam. How many OTC shirts did you see there? And Roman's not even on Raw.
You make a great point. I think Roman Reigns is definitely one of the faces of the WWE at one point. And at one point, he was the definitive face of the WWE in his run with as the tribal chief and the WWE champion. However, I understand the argument that can be made for Roman Reigns, and it's a very strong argument, but I'd like to counter that there's a certain American Nightmare who staked his claim as the face of this company right at WrestleMania 40. Look, Roman Reigns, when he appears, it's cinema. But that's the problem. He never really appears. And when he does appear, it's great. It's awesome. We all, bow towards him. And it's all like, oh my goodness, the OTC, the tribal chief. Wow. I get that. My thing is that if you're kind of just sporadic with your appearances, you can't really be the face of that said company if you're kind of sporadic with it. Cody Rhodes is there every single night, either cutting a promo, having a match, and is doing something. And, albeit he has had to deal with some, raggedy opponents, i.e. Solo Sikoa. But I want you to notice, after he won the WWE Championship, what did they do? Cody Rhodes was at Monday Night Raw. He was at Friday Night SmackDown. And he continued to be on SmackDown every single week. Roman Reigns, look, I know he's got his own personal things. I don't want to knock the guy for that. However, he's not there. You can't really be the face of something if you're really not there. You feel me, Justin? So, Cody Rhodes is the champ. He puts on banger after banger. Word to Sheamus. And look, if Roman Reigns was there consistently and he was constantly cutting promos week after week, having matches every other week, hey, I got you. That's great. He hasn't. He really hasn't. And it's not really his fault. You know, he's doing his own things. He's a family man. He's making movies. He's making money outside of the WWE. I don't mind that. That's cool. But for this particular entertainment company, Cody Rhodes is the face of it.
And here's the thing. If we're going based on who shows up day in, day out, all the time, that means for the last 3 years, it was really Seth Rollins who was the face of WWE. And we all know that wasn't the case. It's not just about can you show up week after week. It's about when you show up, do you put butts in seats and do you put eyes on screens? And you know what? Roman does that every time. No matter what he's showing up for. He could just cut a 30-second promo. Matter of fact, not even that. He showed up at SummerSlam, did one Superman punch, one spear, did not say a single word, and all of a sudden that is the most watched video on YouTube on WWE's page. He gets attention. And in the world of WWE, attention and reaction is how you become the face of that company. And you know what? He is back. Whether he is back to just take out the bloodline, whether he is back to get his title back, end of the day, more people are now going to go back to watching it because the tribal chief is back.
And that's great. And that's awesome. But here's my thing. And you mentioned Seth Rollins. That's a very good point. Seth Rollins is in, like, he's there every single night type stuff. And I get that. The difference is Cody, you say he's not necessarily, you know, a needle mover. I'd beg to differ. I would beg to differ because not only is Cody there, wherever he appears, he just shows up. That place is sold out, okay? Cody Rhodes is still, hands down, the most over babyface in the company, even after Roman Reigns. You would think at the beginning of SmackDown, right? All the hype from the Tribal Chief, they would, you know, introduce the Tribal Chief first. They decided to do something. They decided to test the waters, like some would say, test the waters, see how Cody is doing. Cody went out there and he got a loud ovation. He couldn't talk for a bit. And that just shows me that he is still the guy. He's still the pure baby face. He kisses babies. He hugs fat girls. Word to Batista. He's the guy. And Roman Reigns, he is a needle mover, and he's probably a bigger needle mover than Cody. But if we're talking the balance of both, I think Cody Rhodes does the both so much better at this point in time. Now, when Roman Reigns starts to come back consistently, I'm sure eventually he can be the face of the WWE. But right now, Cody Rhodes, he's not the needle mover that Roman Reigns is, but the difference is he's there and he moves a needle anyway. So I think that Cody Rhodes.
I'm gonna push back on both points you just made. One, Cody Rhodes is not the biggest baby face and the most over baby face in WWE. I'm sorry, that goes to Jey Uso. To this day, he still probably gets the biggest pops out of all the baby faces. I wholeheartedly believe, because if you look at both TV and live shows, I don't think anybody gets a bigger pop than he does. But two, and this is how you can determine which one is going to be the ultimate face of the WWE and the ultimate needle mover. Take their story, take the Cody Rhodes versus Bloodline story, the Roman Reigns versus Bloodline story out, and just put them in any other story arc. Who do you think is going to get more attention overall? Would it be Cody Rhodes in any other feud, or would it be Roman Reigns in any other feud? And I guarantee you, because we've seen it, Roman has put on very good storylines against a variety of different opponents.
Right, he has, absolutely. But the thing is, that was last year. 2023 was probably his last truly active year. And even then, the back half of that year, he was not really there. And even during 2024, in 2024, there was a feud where the main event was Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And you want to know who who is more active than Roman Reigns? It was The Rock. The freaking Rock was more active than Roman Reigns in those feuds, okay? He was. Roman Reigns has had some phenomenal feuds. He has. He's a legendary feud. His story with the Bloodline, in my opinion, is the greatest story ever told. However, again, he is not consistently there. And just because you yes, I would get excited too to see Roman Reigns because I hadn't seen him in like 2 months. So absolutely, I'd get more excited to see somebody that I haven't seen in a while. Your point about Jey Uso, that's a fair name to say. I think Jey Uso gets incredible crowd reactions. But brother, I mean, you gotta listen to when Cody Rhodes hits that whoa in the center of that ramp and that pyro goes off. You just listen to that crowd and how into it they are. To this day, it's still the loudest I've heard it. At France, it was super loud. WrestleMania, super loud. And even this past Friday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. No disrespect to that city.
I was about to say, don't disrespect Tulsa. Tulsa, get down.
No disrespect to Tulsa. I don't want to smoke with y'all. However, I don't think Tulsa's known as this rowdy crowd, okay? They're not this crazy, oh, we're going to look forward to Tulsa when we pass. That's not, no disrespect again. You heard the crowd in Tulsa, Oklahoma, how they felt about Cody. I think right now, Roman Reigns, he could be on his way to be the face of the company again, but right now, it is still Cody Rhodes. It 1000% is. He still gets the loud reactions. He's still the champ of the biggest. I mean, say what you want about Monday Night Raw and how it's outdoing SmackDown right now in terms of the quality. SmackDown's still the most watched show. And part of that is because they want to see what the hell Cody Rhodes is doing.
At this point, nah. They're coming to see what the Bloodline doing at this point.
The Bloodline with Solo Sikoa, Justin? Please.
No. I mean, they want to see the Bloodline storyline. Like, how is this going to play out?
Look, man. Look, that Bloodline storyline, the entire reason that Bloodline storyline is still afloat right now was Paul Heyman and his performance of what he did. That one, was that in MSG? Where he got power bombed.
Yep.
Okay, he got power bombed through the table. That was the last good segment in the Bloodline storyline. Since then, we've had to deal with Cody essentially making Tonga freaking Loa look good, and it just hasn't really worked. Okay, thank God for Jacob Fatu, man. Thank God for him.
Yeah. Tonga Loa is the JD McDonough of SmackDown right now.
Bro, no.
And JD, actually, that's even disrespectful to JD.
That's disrespectful to JD. That's what I was about to say. That's crazy. JD can go. He can sell in the ring. I don't know what the hell Tonga Loa is there for. He's become the biggest meme in the entire community, bro. Look, I think it's so bad.
Look, we could agree to disagree on who we think the ultimate face of the company is. And that's the best thing about WWE. Because you can have this discussion about a variety of different competitors in different time points. At one point, we were having this discussion about Randy Orton versus John Cena, John Cena versus Edge, The Rock and John Cena. Look how I said John Cena just for a bunch of them. The Rock and Triple H, Brock Lesnar and freaking Kurt Angle. Brock Lesnar on that one, but
Brock Lesnar. I mean, I'd say Kurt Angle was a hands down a better performer than Brock Lesnar, though, because Kurt Angle had the charisma in his promos. He was hella entertaining. He could go in the ring better than any former Olympian / wrestler. I mean, just straight up, Kurt Angle is a legend. But we're getting a bit off talking about Kurt freaking Angle with his broken freaking neck. Probably because of the high that we got off the Olympics, which were really fun. Now, the face of the WWE is such a like strong topic because really anybody can be the face of the WWE if WWE pushed them hard enough. Like
technically, Rhea Ripley is probably one of the faces of WWE.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rhea Ripley is definitely one of them, right? And I'd say the top 5 baby faces right now in the entire company are, by default, Cody Rhodes. You have to throw Jey Uso. If we're throwing females in there, Rhea Ripley, hands down. Rhea Bloody Ripley. I'd throw LA Knight in there. I think he gets incredible reactions. And then number 5. Wow. 5 would probably be Damian Priest at this point. Or maybe Roman.
I was waiting to see if he was going to leave him out there.
Yeah, Damian Priest has been getting insane reactions from Monday Night Raw. So
Did you really see the pop when he showed up behind Dominic?
That's what I'm saying. Like clearly, like WWE did such a good job building up Damian Priest, man, because my goodness, like it wasn't really sudden because you could tell they were trying something. They really told Damian, take that title and run with it, right?
Yep.
And since then, I mean, he has been fantastic, and he's more over without the title than he is with the title, which I think like just proves how good of a character and how good that championship suited Damian Priest, man.
But that's also because we just all want to see the bloodline. Jeez, we want to see the bloodline get thrashed too, but we really want to see Judgment Day just get pounded.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect time to go into our next segment with the Judgment Day. So recently, last 2 episodes of Monday Night Raw, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley have stood tall, right? Naturally, because they're the two. I just called them 2 of the top 5 biggest baby faces in the entire company. Naturally, you want to make them look as strong as possible. Here lies the problem. I don't know anybody on that faction right now, Justin, that is a realistic threat to be world champion. Outside of Liv, who's already a women's champion right now, but she's probably going to lose that at Bad Blood, let's be honest. And then Finn Balor, and we all know that like Finn Balor has deserved to be he has deserved to be a main eventer for the longest time. I'm talking way overdue. So other than that though, JD, I like his work in NXT, but could he really branch out? Same thing with Carlito. Could he really branch out? I mean, he's not going to, because at this point he's at the career where he's just kind of doing side stuff. And Dominic Mysterio, the problem with Dominic's character isn't the character itself. It's really what to do with that character. Because yes, he's a slimy heel and you love to boo him, but what are the chances of him winning the Intercontinental Championship from a guy like Braun Breaker, right? How do we reward him, right, for being this over with the crowd in a negative light? You feel me? So I guess I'll start with you. Is there a worry? Like I have a worry with the Judgment Day and how they're going to be able to branch out and become a better faction.
Well, my worry about that is being kicked down the road, because it's a worry we don't necessarily have to deal with until most likely after Bad Blood.
Right.
And it's because this whole thing between the Terror Twins, which is Rhea and Damian, and this new Judgment Day is probably going to stretch until Bad Blood. Because you have now confirmed, you have the tag team match between the Terror Twins and then Dom and Liv, which everybody knows. I'm saying it before our projections. I think Dom and Liv win that with some kind of interference. And then most likely you are going to have Damian and Finn at Bad Blood. And then you're going to have Liv and Rhea at Bad Blood. So after Bad Blood, then it becomes what happens. And it really depends on the outcomes of these matches at Bad Blood. Because in a perfect world, yes, you are trying to make Damian and Rhea this like extremely strong group, but they can survive if they lose. Judgment Day, if you beat them, now you have avenues that you can go. With Finn, you automatically can catapult him into that main event card. With JD, I think you do with JD that you did with Dominic. Have him invade NXT. Now, it's going to be kind of difficult because Dominic won the North American title, and, you know, there's kind of a huge superstar down there that is holding that title. And I don't think JD is ever going to be over Femi for it. So Oba has to swap that title in order for this to happen. With Dom doesn't need a title. He's one of those characters that you don't need to put gold around his waist right now in order for him to actually get good like reactions. Now, maybe you pull some comeuppance and he beats Braun Breaker, because Braun Breaker is another one that doesn't necessarily need the win. But we'll talk more about that later on. But the one is Carlito, but Carlito is really there for just the comedic effect. I feel like the only way to like 100% save this new Judgment Day and to keep them from becoming like the Hurt Business 2.0, which disappeared, is the fact that you need to have them win in these next 2 PLEs. Do I think it's going to happen? Not really. I think Bad Blood is going to be that time where, you know, both baby faces get their wins. Rhea gets her title, Damian gets revenge, but then it becomes, what do you do from there? And that's where the questions lie.
Yeah, and I think some of the issues that I have with that is that since you built Damian Priest to be this big baby face, having him lose going to be a bit difficult. I think Damian can handle the loss for sure. I think Damian is probably the superstar that can handle the loss best because of just the championship run that he just had. Finn Balor cannot lose at Bad Blood if they do make this match at Bad Blood. He cannot lose at Bad Blood. And I'm assuming they're going to make this rematch with Rhea and Liv at Bad Blood, and they're going to do it in Hell in a Cell. And I expect Rhea to go over in that match because Liv's title reign, as good as it is, they need the face of the women's division, Rhea Ripley, to hold that title, while some other superstars can hopefully return, including a superstar we're going to talk about later. I'll be honest, the JD idea sounds good. JD to go into NXT sounds good in theory. Only problem is he's already been to NXT. He's already worked at NXT. And I don't think he really needs to go to NXT. I think he right now is already he's ready as a talent to be in the main roster. He's just taken so many losses. He's taken so many. You see him at the end of every single time the Judgment Day aren't standing tall, JD is at the bottom. So at this point, it's like right now you're going to have to pick and choose who you're going to build from this faction, right? I say easily Finn Balor, hands down. Finn Balor's got to be the one. Next, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, right now you could keep her a heel. I mean, she's very good at what she does, being a very annoying person. But I don't know if you noticed this, bro. Her voice is so perfect for her character, and I'll tell you why. It's so annoying, right? It's so annoying. Her actions themselves are very annoying, and her voice is 10 times more. It's like almost not necessarily like Vicky Guerrero, but almost similar to it. It's like, oh my goodness, every time she chalks, it's like not cardboard, like a chalk screeching on the boards, bro. It's insane. No disrespect to Liv, I still think she's great.
You know who her voice is like? Margot Robbie from Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
when she played Harley Quinn, it's that voice.
But the thing is, Margot Robbie is a bit more. Her voice is more soothing, if that makes any sense. Like it's a little bit more soothing. Like you hear her talk, and it's like sick and twisted, right? But it's like, it's like a New York accent. Like you hear the bit of like the Bronx in there if you really hear Margot Robbie talk. But
I mean, Liv's from Jersey, so
that's what. It's not that far off. It's not that far off. But Jersey and New York could not be more different. You would know, right, Justin?
Yeah, exactly.
A New York native, so they could not be more different. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like being from Jersey, like that's like two different sides of the coin. But regardless, I have faith that Triple H is going to build something for Finn Balor. It's for Finn Balor and for this Judgment Day group. I'm just scared for the rest. Like Carlito, what's he going to be doing? JD McDonough, what's he going to be doing? And I understand Dominic Mysterio doesn't need a title, right? Because of the reactions that he gets. He doesn't need one. However, I would like to see a title on Dominic Mysterio, bro. Like just like him, like just winning in evil heel ways. Like it's just because something about Dominic Mysterio getting booed with a title just feels right. You feel me? Like JBL level heat, even more than JBL, honestly. So
could you imagine? And this is fantasy booking. This is not like a real projection. Could you imagine if Dominic ever had like Money in the Bank?
Oh my gosh, the heel heat that he'd get, bro.
Like somebody, like let's say he screwed over Jey Uso and got that briefcase.
He'd get booed. He already is getting so booed already. But bro, if he won Money in the Bank or any title really, like when he won the North American title, that performance center was losing their mind. Like they could not stop. They were screaming, booming at him, bro. It was nuts. It was the funniest thing ever. And I laugh at when Dominic does like heel stuff because it's like I kind of think that I would kind of do similar things if I were there. I would just kind of just like hit somebody with a title belt, pin him, win. Everybody's booming. I just raise my hands.
Pretty much.
He's funny. One of my favorite all-time matches is Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 39. He just does the stupidest thing, right? Doesn't prove anything. He just goes to the top rope. He goes like this. He tie a crowd, boos him. It's the best. But yeah, I'm a little worried, but I have faith. I have faith that Triple H can do something with JD McDonough, with Finn Balor, who are the current tag team champions. But next up, I want to talk about an injury. This is WWE news that happened with Dakota Kai. She is out for 8 to 10 weeks. She got injured. I don't know exactly when the injury happened. It could have been when she was training. It might have been while she was attacking
supposedly it was on Raw when she got attacked before her match. Before that match that she was supposed to have.
You think it happened there? You think it just like happened right there?
Yeah.
Interesting. So it was like a shoot interview. It was like a shoot like attack, right? Wow.
Which is not so far-fetched because the same thing happened to Rhea with her injury.
Right, of course, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. My only thing is that, by the way, random, complete side note, Pure Fusion Collective. What kind of name is that? That's the worst faction name. Sonya Deville trying to like gas it up, like bro, what? Like that name makes no sense. Like it sounded like they took a bunch of words from the dictionary and decided to throw it together. Like there's no reason for it, but. I digress, man. I have a headache thinking about that name, Pure Fusion Collective. Dakota.
This is why we let the fighters make the names.
My goodness, Dakota Kai. Wow. How many times has she gotten injured in her career, Justin? Like
lower body injuries, quite a few times. She has had a history of leg and knee injuries, and now she has a meniscus tear. Honestly speaking, I don't know how long she could keep competing actively. Like, honestly, if you're constantly getting injured this much in your career, I have to think about like you as a person outside of the ring and your quality of life after you leave like performing. And I don't want her to get to a point where she has to walk with the dang cane because her legs and her knees are so messed up with all the injuries. So it's like one of those things where you really have to think about it at this point.
Yeah, and it's kind of the thing. She's had these injury problems since her NXT days. And there have been times where she was gonna get something going right, and then she'd get injured. Same thing in the main roster. There's going to be something for her, right? Then she gets injured. This is 2 years in a row where she got injured, right? And it's come to the point where I agree. It's like, do you need to become a manager? Do you need to become do you just want to become a manager at this point? I mean, it's getting a bit concerning, and it's probably why that they're not pushing her to the top, right? Like there's a large amount of the IWC who see Dakota Kai in a very high light. They think her promo work is good, her in-ring work was good, everything about it was good, right? Everything about her is good. And I saw a video of her crying on, I think she was streaming, right? And she was like crying for a chance. And I feel so bad because honest to God, she deserves that chance. But the problem is that her body won't give her the chance. It's not so much WWE not giving her that chance. It's that, does WWE trust Dakota Kai to stay injured? This is a similar issue that they had with the likes of Wade Barrett when they tried to build him from an Nexus. What about Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe, when he was in WWE, I kid you not, it was injury after injury after injury. They could never pull the plug on him becoming champion because they were scared of the injury that he would suffer. So,
and if y'all haven't had a chance to actually watch Dakota Kai like in the ring, she has a great amount of like in-ring ability. She has that thing where she could be in the women's world title picture. Even in the women's tag team division picture with the title there. But it's just these injuries keep setting her back. Listen to this list. Since 2019, torn ACL. 2023, torn ACL. 2024, torn meniscus. These are injuries where if we talk about other sports, each one of these, you are missing a year. You're just goodbye for the season. It's just lucky enough WWE is a 365-day commitment where 8 to 10 weeks in WWE doesn't sound too bad. It's like a couple of PLEs. But she has to think about like her long-term health at this point.
Right. And it's a shame, again, because you said it yourself. This girl is so good in the ring. But most importantly, she's very convincing on the mic. And that is a trait that not a lot of women have. I can't name a lot of women who can spit fire on the mic like Dakota Kai, like a Zelina Vega when she gets the stick, right? Yeah. Like, and even the top women in the division, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, I would go on to say that Dakota Kai and Zelina Vega are probably better on the mic than those two. And that just goes to show, hey, I mean, stay healthy and maybe you'll get a shot. Like, and that's why I think that they're kind of hesitant with that.
There's one more thing to factor, because it's easy to say like, okay, Dakota Kai, rest up, heal up, and you'll be back in the ring. One other thing to note, Dakota Kai is 36 years old. Mm-hmm. And it's not a knock on her age. It's the fact that the older you get, the harder it becomes to recover from injuries like this. This is why you see in other professional sports, if you get injured at this point with this kind of seriousness, you start to question whether or not you could keep playing. Now, if you're on the NFL side and you're like, oh, but Aaron Rodgers did some ayahuasca or something to like magically heal from a torn meniscus. I don't know what the hell he did. But Dakota Kai could do the same injury thing. Okay,
we could go on an entire different conversation about what Aaron Rodgers did. I mean, my goodness, but
then that just leads to it. It's like you don't have age on you don't have age on your side, so it's going to take you longer to actually recover from this. Then, because of your history of injuries, it's a question mark of like, how much can we ramp you up without having another setback?
Right. It's the same thing with CM Punk and the concerns with CM Punk, right? With CM Punk, I feel like there are more freak accidents than they are injuries, but this is 3 knee injuries. So clearly it's a structural thing, right? However, like with CM Punk, he's so convincing, he's so entertaining. You could not have him wrestle, and he's still so good on TV. Dakota Kai, as good as she is, she doesn't have that luxury, okay? She doesn't. So, bottom line, Dakota Kai, I hope she gets better. I hope she gets healthy, but it might be a bit before we see her in the ring. Like, I know the mark says 8 to 10 weeks, right? It could be longer based on how they feel if she goes into the ring, if she's fragile. So that just goes to show WWE is a tough business, man. When you want to get pushed, sometimes, but that's why I'm so impressed by these wrestlers who are always healthy, like the Cody Rhodeses of the world. My goodness, the Cody Rhodes, the LA Knights, right? The Sami Zayns who go without it. When was the last time Sami Zayn got injured? It's actually impressive. Like I can't remember the last time he's gotten hurt.
I think it was a concussion like a while ago.
It was a while ago though, right?
Speaking of which, Sami Zayn, this is going off tangent. Can you please stop trying to do that diving DDT? Like, between the bottom rope? You haven't been able to hit that in like 5 years. Stop.
Yeah, I hate it when he does that. It's the worst. But man, bottom line, it's hard to get her when it feels like your momentum is starting to build. And I feel like with Dakota Kai and the new babyface kind of low-key turn that the Damage Control was taking, that they were going to start to ramp up Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. So it's such a shame. Couldn't have happened at a worse time. Get better soon, Dakota. We're rooting for you, man. Next up, and our final topic of the day, LA Knight and Braun Breaker obviously won their championships back at SummerSlam. Title wins that we all think that they deserve, hands down. LA Knight is on the older side of that spectrum. He didn't have much time to get this kind of win, so his was a lot more satisfying than Braun Breaker's. But Braun Breaker's, I mean, the way he was built up, you had to give him the IC title. It was just bound to happen. So my question, Justin, to you, what are your expectations for these title reigns, and how do you think they're going to go?
Well, here's the thing. Each one of them are holding the two prestigious mid-card titles, and they're holding them for two entirely different reasons.
Right.
Let's start out with LA Knight and the US title. LA Knight is holding this because it was about damn time that they put a title on him. Because of the amount of pops he gets, because of the crowd reactions, it was bound to happen that gold was about to go on this man's shoulders. And his purpose for having the US title is to really have like the marquee feuds and matches for it. He will be the type that will go up against a Logan Paul, against I don't even know like who in the talent and SmackDown.
Santos Escobar and Carmelo Hayes.
There you go. Santos
they
Escobar.
Are the ones that come to mind, yeah.
Andrade, like a couple of others. Like he is the one that will have like those great promo opportunities and the great matches with. Flip side over to Raw, Braun Breaker, he has that title to help establish himself as a bigger star. He is there to literally show how dominant he can be as a champion. He is not there to have like the big 5-star promo sessions. No, he's there. You're going to put somebody in front of him. They're going to talk their little talk, and then he's going to rip them a new one. Mm-hmm. And the first victim, I think, is Ilya Dragunov. As much as I think we need to protect him because I want him to face Gunther at some point, it has to happen. Or anybody else that is going to be there. Oh, I just realized. Carmelo Hayes is probably going to be up first against LA Knight.
I mean, that's gonna be tough because I think they really want big things for Carmelo Hayes, but man, it's like, are they really gonna feed LA Knight to Carmelo
Hayes, LA Knight? Yes,
I don't like that I don't really like that for Carmelo Hayes. That's why I like this little side feud he's got with Andrade. I like this little side feud for him because I feel like it can get both of these competitors over, But
that's really what the point is. They have two different responsibilities with these titles.
Right, and I definitely agree. I want to counterpoint your Ilya Dragunov point real quick before I get to my answer. Ilya Dragunov has been taking too many losses, in my opinion. I think feeding him to Braun Breaker isn't necessarily the move. I think the best way to do this, since Braun Breaker is more of the heel, the tweener type, he's definitely not a heel anymore. I say perfect thing to do, have him go up against Sheamus. I think Sheamus is a guy who is already a veteran. He can take the loss. I mean, the match that we had with Sheamus, between Sheamus and Braun Breaker, was already good. I think they can have a better one at a PLE, hopefully. Same thing with possibly a Pete Dunne if you want to do that. So I'm excited to see.
You do have a built-in storyline there because remember, Sheamus, the only title he has never held is the IC title.
Right. That's not more of a reason to have Sheamus. Maybe Sheamus shouldn't be, because if you want to give Sheamus an IC title, you're not going to hear any complaints from me, let me tell you. However, I do think that he's going to have to be a guy you feed Braun Breaker eventually, unfortunately. But luckily, you got guys like Ludwig Kaiser who can also be a threat. And since Braun, this is why I like the fact that Braun is a tweener, bro. because with Braun being a tweener, he could feud with the baby faces, he could feud with the heels, and it feels like it's right since Braun Breaker is more of like a lone wolf. And you hear him, they cheer him regardless. So you might as well not even hide it. Put him against a face, put him against a heel. He's so destructive, everybody loves it. With LA Knight, he has one job with this title. It's to build the prestige of the US title back. Because the last 3 champions that we've had with the US title have been Austin Theory, Rey Mysterio, and Logan Paul. All 3 of these champs were okay. Austin Theory's beginning of the reign was good. The back half, lackluster. Rey Mysterio's was mid. And then Logan Paul, he just wasn't there. He had he had 3 good defenses, granted, but they were so sporadic that it's like, I mean, we were just kind of waiting for him to appear. LA Knight, we want him every single week talking that talk, feuding with who I think his first feud with Santos Escobar is a perfect time. Most importantly, and this is an expectation that goes the same with Braun Breaker. Do not, I repeat, Paul Levesque, Triple H, do not put these title matches on SmackDown, okay? Not exclusively for SmackDown. I'm allowing the 2 out of 3 falls banger that Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn put on this past Monday. I'm allowing that, okay? However, LA Knight's one of your biggest faces. Braun Breaker is one of your top stars. They need to be on PLEs. Tag teams, the tag team championships, I'm already upset that they're not on PLEs, okay? I'm already upset at that, all right? That's okay, though, because the tag team division isn't exactly as popular as it once was, okay? I mean, I hate to say this, and this is kind of weird that I'm saying it. With the Undisputed Tag Team titles, they really made those titles matter, okay? No matter who you put on them. With Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they were main eventing PLEs, okay? With Damian Priest and Finn Balor. You even had Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. They mattered a bit, okay? Like, it's come to the point where you got to find a way to make that tag team division matter. I don't want the problem that we're having with the tag team division to happen with the IC and US title, okay? It's impossible because the characters are so over the top. However, they need to be defended on PLEs, okay? You want to defend it on SmackDown every once in a while? Sure, fine, whatever, cool. However, it can't be the Friday before. It can't be the Friday before a PLE, okay? I hate, Justin, I can't stress enough. I hate it. The fact that they had a title match like Grayson Waller and Austin Theory versus DIY in Canada, and they couldn't put that match in there at Money in the Bank. That's ridiculous to me. That was ridiculous. And they had an entire storyline. They had a storyline with that title match. And the pop that they would have got, there were were there 0 title changes that Money in the Bank? There were 0. Wow. So. Not a single title change happened. That could be the title change. That could have been the title change that you had. So, straight up, my expectations are simple. Make sure that these mid-card titles don't feel like mid-card titles. We can't have these people main eventing a SmackDown before Bash at Berlin or Bad Blood. We need these guys in the PLEs. We need the guys in the marquee. And especially the talents like LA Knight and Braun Breaker, man.
I'll be honest. You know what they need to do when it comes... I'll add to the tag team division, and I'm going to give you an idea for the IC title. Because there's a competitor that I think you can feed to Braun Breaker, and it works for both parties. But for the tag team division, I think it's time you start calling up some of these tag teams in NXT, because I think one of the biggest problems is we don't have any new blood that are in the tag team divisions. And I feel like the tag team divisions in NXT are just a little bit more entertaining than the ones you have at Raw and SmackDown, because the ones in Raw and SmackDown you see all the time. It's always the same, like 3 to 5 tag teams vying for these titles. But you go to NXT route, all of a sudden you got Chase U, who just won the tag team titles in NXT. And you have a couple other tag team there vying. Even the ones that are going after the that damn cup that I don't even consider a title.
Heritage Cup?
The Heritage Cup.
I don't like that title anyway.
If you get the family, Tony D'Angelo and them up there, guarantee you it's a lot more entertaining. But you need new blood in the tag team division. That's the way to save it. It's always been the way to save it. I've always looked at the tag team titles as a way of introducing new tag teams into the division and having them put on bangers. And honestly, that's the way they got to fix it. Now for my idea, which I want to hear your thoughts on. There's a superstar who is stuck as a tag team superstar that everybody believes deserves to be a singles competitor. And I think if you put this individual against Braun Breaker, one, they will have a great match together because I do believe in both of their abilities. And two, you can have Breaker go over on him and it's still going to work in both of their favors. So what do you think of this match? Braun Breaker versus Montez Ford.
I was thinking the exact same thing. And you want to know something? I would 1000% agree with you if Montez Ford wasn't on SmackDown, bro. Like, you know what's funny?
Break him. Break it up.
Break it up. Oh my gosh. No, don't do that.
Break up the pockets. It's been too long.
I'm at the point where, but the thing is that, like, they're both so good together to the point where it's like, do we really, really want to get rid? Like, they're such a good tag team. I get it. Montez Ford deserves a singles run. He's been deserving it for a very, very, very long time. I just struggle to see how they make it work. Now, I think the fact that they decided to have like Randy Orton go to Raw and get a championship match. It's Randy freaking Orton, Justin. Of course, Randy's gonna have the weight. They're going to be able to work some sort of deal where he challenges for that. And on top of that, there's a story behind why that match is happening.
I get it. Okay. Again, fantasy booking. Think about it like this. You give Montez an opportunity at Braun Breaker, right?
Right.
Angelo Dawkins costs him it. All of a sudden, now we have a heel turn with Dawkins. And I've been saying this. Dawkins is also a good singles competitor by himself. And I think he would make a better heel than Montez would. Because Montez is just too loved by the WWE Universe. And I think with that, now you have each of them possibly competing for both of those titles. Because I think I would be entertaining to see a LA Knight versus Angelo Dawkins match. The same way I would love to see a Montez Ford versus Braun Breaker match. And there you go. Now you got them starting their singles run. Because as a tag team, they've already reached the top of the mountain multiple times. There's nothing else they can do. And if you keep this up, you're just going to have another New Day issue.
But the thing with the New Day is that they're already starting the process of why, like, we see it every week at this point. Xavier Woods is not happy with Kofi Kingston. It's very evident.
Yep.
So that breakup is very imminent. On top of that, Montez Ford, at this point, it's come to the point where it's like, you gotta let him have this last tag team. I think they're gonna win the NXT tag team titles. I think they're gonna win it. I think at Bad Blood is a perfect time. I don't know where Angelo and Montez Ford are from, but I think having the titles drop to the Street Profits, because they're hands down the most popular tag team on SmackDown. Like, it's very, very obvious that when their intro hits, that crowd's popping. On top of that, Montez Ford, at this point, I'm kind of giving up on this idea of Montez Ford being a single star, because it's getting a little like, okay, is it gonna happen or is it not gonna happen? And I get it, you want to feed him to Braun Breaker, and then that triggers a heel turn, and that's cool. But where are they going to make that work in the story? I know Triple H can work magic out of thin air and stuff like that. I just don't think that they could do it with a guy like Montez Ford, who they haven't really built up to be this single star quite yet. Like, he's the standout of the Street Profits, but he's not so much of a standout that he overshadows Angelo Dawkins all the time.
Right. I mean, listen, this is not something that has to take place like in a week or two from now. Like, this is something you could possibly build up that could take some time, but we need to see it happen. Like, these two are in limbo right now. And I feel like it's much better to try to give them something as singles competitors than to keep them in this tag team limbo that they're in, where they're not even on TV like that.
Well, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, they weren't on TV, but they're starting to get, like, they're going to have a number one contenders match this Friday with DIY. So, and that's going to be a great match. But honestly, I think the tag team division on SmackDown is better off than the tag team division on Raw, because the tag team division on Raw, I mean, how many tag teams do you even have? I mean, you got Authors of Pain, you got
New Day,
the Judgment Day, the New Day, and that's pretty much that's it. Like that's it. Like, am I missing them? Miz and R-Truth, they're gonna break up soon. Like that's literally it. I kid you not. So
Jay and Sammy,
I guess they're gonna be the team that dethrone the Judgment Day, I guess. But at this point, it's not even about that. I'm kind of getting off topic here. My point is this: with Montez Ford, he deserves it. It's just a matter of time. And I think come 2025, that's when it's going to happen. But as of this year, I know everybody was hoping this year was going to be the year it happens. I think we're going to have to wait till 2025 for this Montez Ford singles run to happen, Justin. I just don't see a way where it happens this year, really.
I don't know, but it's got to happen soon. Because listen, I watched the reality show with him and Bianca Belair, and I know how much he wants it to be a singles competitor. Like, that's his dream in WWE. But time's a ticking. Like,
yeah,
you gotta make it happen.
He's a young guy, so I think he's got time. It's just the right moment, right, for it to happen, right? Like, we gotta, and on top of that, it's like with Angelo Dawkins, for example, like, it's like, what are we gonna do with him, right? With Angelo, it's easy to think about Montez Ford, right? But what about Angelo Dawkins? We don't want one person to stay. We don't want one person to go up and the other to shoot down. I don't think we want that to be the case. So, overall, I think with Montez Ford, this became a Montez Ford. Started talking about Montez Ford real quick. Hey, but he's a competitor worth talking about. Let me tell you, man, he is a special talent, very charismatic, incredible in the ring. But I think that whatever they do with the IC title, it's got to make Braun Breaker look like a beast. And I hope this IC title is much like, I hope the IC title is not just like Gunther's, but in terms of dominance, similar to Gunther's, if that makes any sense. And the same thing with LA Knight. Well, LA Knight, I just want entertainment. Okay, I'm expecting very different things from from these two titles. So I'm excited, man. I'm very excited to see where we go with this.
Let's see what happens.
Yep, absolutely. And with that being said, we thank you guys so much for joining us here in the WWE Fight Pit. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.